We're in trouble in America. We're losing our moral bearings. We're losing our respect for the rule of law. And you look around America today and things are bad and they're getting worse. We're broke. We're dispirited. We're scared. We've been moving closer and closer to socialism, further away from God, the Constitution, doing what's right in our own eyes, and all the while, not noticing that it's killing us. It's killing our nation.
Just beginning.
Americans tend to be too comfortable, slowly but surely turning their backs on the sacrifices their forefathers made for liberty. Why is that? As bad as it is, as horrible as it seems, as unlikely as it appears that we can escape, what we're going through can actually be a vitally necessary experience for us, and one that is ultimately very healthy and liberating for this country. The truth needs to be told in all the dark places, because it's the truth that sets us free.
WorldNetDaily is live on the air. It is December 20, 2024. Shut it down. We've got a special guest today. Mel K is going to be joining us as we watch DC contemplate whether or not they need to shut down the government. There's a lot of moving parts to this. We're going to go through it and see where we're at right now. It is going to be a great whimsical show here. I like to call it whimsical because when you're dealing with budgets, there's so many different things that just pop up that really spur people's imagination of what we could be spending on or what we shouldn't be spending on.
Passions and anger as well.
Yes, exactly. Josh Turnbow, of course, and Mel K joins us. Mel, how
hey,
are
Mel.
Hi, guys. Well, I'm glad to be back. It looks like I'm frozen.
You are frozen with fear over the CR bill. Is that what's going on?
I don't know, but I am not frozen with fear because I believe that it's like Groundhog Day and everyone in America is like, what is they truly think that we're morons. It's more insulting than anything else in a barrage of insults over the last few months.
Yeah.
Mel, I think let's have you jump out and we'll bring you back. Pop you right back in. Yeah, please.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I was just going to say, I'll go to Patriot Mobile. We'll do that up front here first, and we'll come back and properly introduce Mel here.
Cool.
Folks, patriotmobile.com/WND Patriot. That is where you go to sign up for Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is the only Christian conservative wireless provider. It's a category they invented and they are running with it. It is awesome. They stand up for faith, family, and freedom. Not only do they provide great coverage, they guarantee that coverage. And if you scan the QR code and head over to patriotmobile.com/WND Patriot or use the promo code WND Patriot, that's stands for WorldNetDaily Patriot, right, Josh? That's what it stands for.
That's exactly what it stands for, Matt. Yes, thank you.
You need to have WND Patriot. So head over there now. All right, Mel K is back. Mel, welcome to the
Hey,
program.
Mel.
Hi, guys.
I want to make sure the audience knows who you are and what your background is and why we love having you on the show. So can you give us a little bit of intro?
Yeah. Well, I started out in journalism, then I went back for film, and I became, for the last 22 years, I've been a screenwriter that does something specific, historical drama. So I take real history and I fictionalize it. And a lot of times that real history is things people didn't know or were not told on purpose at many different times. So over the years, I've been watching, and then I started talking about some things that were happening in Hollywood. I lived out there for 22 years, and I started going on some podcasts, kind of talking about what I thought was happening to our country, especially since the murder of JFK. And then the pandemic came, And I had written a script about Hannah Arendt and the Eichmann trials in Jerusalem. So I'd really dug into Nazi Germany in the 30s and 40s to write that. And I saw a lot of really obvious glaring similarities between the lead up to the pandemic and the pandemic that I did to the lead up to the Holocaust. And people didn't like that, but I spoke about it. And as soon as New York City locked down, I started the Mel K show. We grew really fast on YouTube. I had on my good friend, rest in peace, Dr. Zelenko, and Dr. Stella, Dr. Gold, and everyone from the that had spoken about early treatment and were really out there putting themselves on the line. I woke up one day to find my YouTube channel completely erased. Option to appeal. Because early on, way before the vaccine, I was labeled as spreading medical disinformation, which ended up being absolutely true and could have been life-saving. So we jumped over to our own website, themelkshow.com, and Rumble and other places where free speech lives, and we rebuilt. And now, and then I traveled around the country. And after traveling around the country for 3.5 years, speaking honestly in small venues, large venues, small groups, big stadium events in Times Square as well, I realized that America needed an intervention. So about 2 years ago, I started writing a book called Americans Anonymous, Restoring Power to the People, One Citizen at a Time, a 12-step program for returning power to the people. And that just recently came out. So I am back on board trying to empower people with information of how we got here, what we can do about it, and how we can have a better, more perfect union as per instructed going forward.
Yes, wonderful. We'll talk about empowering the people. I mean, take us through a little bit of what you've been noticing over the past couple of days here with this CR bill.
Well, what I notice is a Groundhog Day situation, but at this point, it's like when Bill Murray realizes that he's in Groundhog Day, and that's the American people right now. We're watching them in this show. It's so funny when like Jeffries or the lady with the purple hair come out and they're like, they don't want to save kids with cancer. The truth of the matter is that this is the operation that goes all the way back to Colonel Aquino, the Satanists that ran the psychological operations of the military back when they were doing MK Ultra and massive mind control. They took that, frankly, from the Nazis. And what we are dealing with is a mass manipulation psychological operation at the highest level. I believe that the people that they are all working for, I call them the parent company, are above our government. They're the global public-private partnership in our nation, I think led by the 10 billionaires that fund all the division through fraudulent NGOs and nicely named foundations. And what I see is the American people being shown in a very bright light how little respect these people have for us, how little they care about our voice, let alone our vote, let alone what we want done with our money. And to me, as crazy as it looks, because nothing would really change, I hope everyone realizes if the government did shut down, except for that the 1% apparently of government workers that actually go to work every day won't have somewhere to go. But nothing else will really be affected. I know what they're saying, but I also believe that true patriots, even if they are in the government or the military or anywhere else, also agree from what I'm getting from my own followers, shut it down. Shut it down. Don't spend one more dollar. Let's wait till Trump gets in there and let Elon Musk and the DOGE team kind of explain to the American people what's been going on. And regardless of what you think of Elon Musk or Vivek, they just put a lot of power back in the hands of the people this past week. And the people that have gotten away with this for decades, the ones that are still, who wants to still be working every day at 85 years old in DC? Why would you do that if it's not because you leaving puts other people and yourself and your family in risk because of your criminality? So to me, all that we're looking at is a bunch of criminals being like, don't cut off the money. Right. And I think people see that.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Absolutely.
And it makes me think about, like, I mean, look, we've lived through. There was a government shutdown during Trump's first term. How long did it last? 30 days, 20 days? It was a few weeks.
Well, there was a world shutdown, and we all survived for a month.
Yeah, good point.
You know,
Good
we
point.
did survive till we got the first checks from the IRS.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Well, all right. Well, let's look at some of the arguments being made out there. So here is we've got a couple of tweets here from Senator Mike Lee. Let's throw these up here. This was in response to Congressman Greg Murphy. I'm not quite sure where he's out of, but he said leadership is tough, especially in a divided Congress. What is tougher is those who complain from the sideline when they don't have to get the votes themselves. And then, of course, Mike Lee says, you know what's not leading? Writing this 1,500-page spending bill in secret. That is not leadership. It's legislative thuggery. And then, of course, right after this one, he also posted this. Let's look at that. Elon says, has anyone read it? And he says, here's an idea. Whenever congressional leaders deprive their fellow lawmakers of a meaningful opportunity to read a bill before voting on it, we should immediately fire those leaders and elect new ones. This trick has been used far too long. It's time to bring it to an end. And like you said, Mel, this is Groundhog Day over and over and over again. And we're awake to it. And with X being in charge of under Elon's charge and free speech being out there, and the way the internet is and the way that communication and things can spread out so much clearer now, especially with Rumble. I want to throw Rumble in that mix too.
Yeah.
The numbers that you see on Rumble it's incredible. Like, down in Arizona, AmFest is going on with Charlie Kirk. So you got all of the big heavy hitters are down there as well. And if they're not spread out across the country. So it's not going to be business as usual. I don't suspect.
No, it's not. And I think it's also really important for us to realize that the only reason we got here, which is what my book's all about, the only reason we got here is because we stopped being the founders. We're not that old, and this is why I put it also in there, the 27 grievances and the Declaration of Independence, and how we are in exactly the same place. But this time we have been captured, I believe, by globalist interests that are financially invested to the tune of trillions upon trillions of dollars in this Agenda 2030, Great Reset, all the things that they're telling us are given. Even Elon Musk is out there being like, yeah, we're going to have, I don't know what we're going to do with humans. And we have to, do all this other stuff that's dystopian technology. It sounds a lot like Minority Report and Ready Player One. And I don't want to live in that world, and we don't have to. And what's being done is that these globalist organizations, and a lot of these bills are written by think tanks. First and foremost, every single bill should be put in individually with the think tank, the research, the sponsors on C-SPAN for a vote. They can sit there for 5 hours and one after another go up with the things. These omnibus bills, they're disrespectful to the people there, but worse for we the people. And they're not going to be able to get away with it anymore. And frankly, I think lobbying and think tanks should be totally self-sufficient, not $1 of taxpayer money, no grants, no nothing. Really, they got to go in and audit USAID and National Endowment for Democracy. We need to know where our money's going. So what's happening right now is I believe we have a lot of criminals in the government. I firmly believe every congressperson, senator, and executive branch member who went through the pandemic from beginning to end needs to be audited all the way back. But I believe that we have like Kash Patel says, a government full of gangsters that have been getting away with it, in my opinion, since 1963. And enough's enough. The gig is up. Take power back to the people and demand transparency, or we're not going to participate and shut it down.
Yeah. I want to make sure we welcome our viewers on X. Today's the first day that we've been able to broadcast on the WorldNetDaily channel over on X. We were banned for months.
Oh, I know.
I think for years, actually. We think from back when it was, not in Elon's hands, WorldNetDaily got a ban. Okay. And it lifted today, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh my God, is that for real?
Yeah.
It's so great. I love it. It's so funny. Everyone that was banned, everyone should jump and follow right now.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. Very good.
Mel,
those out there. Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to ask Mel this. So I feel like it's such a new day because I remember in the past, like there would be these fights over the bills, but they never turned out like this. And we see this this huge reaction from the swamp. I don't know the woman's name, the congresswoman's name with the blue hair and the funny glasses. She looks like she looks like a character from Monsters Inc. or something. Yeah,
probably really.
But then even on our on both sides, people are having to come out and defend themselves, even like Nancy Mace, for instance. I think we have a clip of this, but people and Chip Roy and everyone's like, no, look, I'm on Donald's side, or, that's how polarizing it all is, which I think in the end really benefits the American people.
Yeah, totally. I agree. And that's a lot of what my book is about, because I do believe that all of this propaganda, all this manipulation has been on like a military grade scale, especially with your unholy relationship with big tech and with all of the international bodies that they align with, the Five Eyes spy agencies, whatever the case may be. They have failed to hide anymore. I'm telling you, they overplayed their hand with the pandemic, and ever since then, honestly, they overplayed their hand the day that Donald Trump won, and they tried to start, gaslighting us into thinking that Russia was running our country or something else. It's just all become such a joke. And I do want my money going towards holding people accountable that committed sedition and treason in America in 2016, and anyone who committed lawfare to destroy this country or to undermine our vote or lied to the American people. There's a lot of work to do, but the fact that, and we should keep an eye on people like AOC and some of those other people, because they should be just as positive about the transparency and what's being shown online. And then take note of the people like that first tweet that you showed that are saying, how dare the people come here? And the biggest joke is that they're like, these billionaires, Vivek and Elon, are telling us what to do without pay as citizen volunteers, mind you. Meanwhile, BlackRock and Goldman Sachs have been behind the scenes running the highest levels of the government, especially the State Department, for decades. The number two to Anthony Blinken with the Chinese foreign policy is the former head of BlackRock's International Investing Institute. Larry Fink and the guys, don't forget Gensler and all where they came from, and the other guy under Obama, he's now running Warburg. What are you talking about? That this is new? No, the only thing that's new is that the billionaires that are doing this are not getting a salary or getting paid. They're volunteering, as our founders had hoped. True American founders, which I believe we still all are. We're under 500 years old, so we're all still kind of founding our way. This is what they wanted. And I hope more and more people could, because what Elon Musk and Vivek are doing in DC, and this is what Americans Anonymous is also about. I suggest freedom and liberty watch groups in every community, in every county, in every state in this country. And we should have DOGE groups in every single community that taxpayer money goes missing. So we should be the oversight board. Where's our data going that you're collecting on our smart meters? Where's all this overreach without a warrant, without, probable cause of track and trace surveillance being put in on our bike lanes? Like, why are you buying military grade equipment for our 5-person police force? Like, there's a lot going on. So
yeah, and a lot of that's going to get
the whole country.
That's right. And you're absolutely right. I mean, the people are waking up. We watch them. We watch the left claim this. They're calling President Musk now. It's
a cheap ploy.
Yeah, somehow Trump's a dictator, but he's also a puppet. Like, it's just like they can't get their story straight. But here's the interesting thing, though, and I think this is where we're at right now. Thomas Massie, God bless him, he said, here's what we actually need to do. We need to separate the bills and vote on them individually. One vote on the clean CR, a vote on the debt limit, a vote on disaster relief, one vote on farm bailouts, individual bills for each issue. Here, of course, just to remind everybody, here's a picture of what the first bill looked like. Then there was the next bill that people said spent just as much money, just didn't have all the regulations and all the new rules in it and stuff, which still caused people to get upset. And now it looks like President Elon said, hey, that's a great idea that Massie had. And I think that's where we are headed now. That's the latest that I knew, that they were going to try to do something like that, unless something else has popped up since we've been on the air for 20 minutes.
But that's what it should be. And the truth is that these bills aren't written by the people sponsoring them. They're written by the lobbyists that come to them to sponsor them. So we should also know who sponsored it, who was involved in the meetings, where are the notes from the meetings and the research that brought brought you to this bill, because none of it exists, because this isn't what it's about. We have a parent company that believes that our natural resources, our taxpayer dollars, our land, and our military belong to them. They are not working for we the people of the United States. And that's why they don't want Tulsi Gabbard. That's why they don't want Hegseth. That's why they don't want any of these people, because these people are aware of this. And I think it's worthwhile for the American people to know that since the crash of 2007, 2008, which I firmly believe was a controlled demolition to centralize banking for exactly where we are leading now, where they're leading us with Obama's deception of signing us on to Agenda 2030, was about financial as well. And I believe that they are leading us on a path to continue to be at their will and at their mercy by manipulating us psychologically. When you're saying that stopping the government stops treatment and research for cancer, or you're using the old, people aren't going to be able to feed their families and all this stuff. Like I said, I just want to remind you, they closed down the world and we didn't get checks for like 6 weeks, and that didn't seem to stop anyone from doing what they had to do. So for me, I also think they're doing a lot of things with our money and with our country to make sure that Trump does not get to do what we the people voted for him to do. So a lot of this too, especially with what's going on in Syria and elsewhere ramping up, is to make sure that Trump cannot go forward, because people have to understand the criminals that were not put in jail for Crossfire Hurricane, and especially the lawfare people, that's Eisen, Weissman, McCord, that all picked up Fannie Willis and Smith and all these DOJ and Soros-backed people. We have to understand that they committed criminal acts against we, the people of the United States, not Donald Trump. So because they haven't been held accountable, they're plotting and planning for 18 months from now to come back out with their community organizing and their Arabella Partners Act Blue funded, machine, and to destroy anything that we do. That's why the people have to get involved in the next 18 months, frankly, in the next few weeks, and organize where they are to be the DOGE of their community. And once we start weeding it out in community after community, it's going to pull that route all the way to Wall Street and DC. And we might actually have a shot at having a far better future than we do right now.
Yeah, I want to ask
Amen.
Yeah, and I want to ask you about this attempt, like dig in a little bit on the left calling Elon Musk President Musk here, because we have this post put up here, Lulu me, I don't know, sometimes these names, but it's Representative Jaya Paul down below here said, who's in charge? It's clear who's in charge. It's not President-elect Donald Trump. It's President Elon Musk, and it's in some sort of Photoshop generated image here. Do you think this will have any effect on Trump? The fact that they're trying to say that Elon is in charge here, like as if they're trying to drive a wedge between the two. Do you think there's any chance of that?
No, it's absolutely ridiculous. Here's the funny thing, though. Just 2 weeks ago, Trump was an authoritarian Hitler figure, and now he's a puppet. This is fascinating stuff happening.
He's a Nazi that shares power, Mel. That's what he is. He's a good sharer.
I know, isn't he? He's the best Hitler we ever had.
The irony of this coming from the Democrat side, or even the White House, we don't even know if Joe Biden's alive some days.
Right.
Is amazing.
Especially this week with CNN, Washington Post, and New York Times admitting that Joe Biden wasn't there from day one. And now they're saying this. And then I'm telling you, like Larry Fink and the guy from BlackRock, that Donilon and all these people, the State Department is a global public-private partnership working for globalism and themselves. They use USAID as their money bags to go overthrow regimes that don't agree with them. With a military-industrial complex is part of this parent company that has usurped our country and is destroying our Constitution and Bill of Rights with their unconstitutional, disgusting, out of control, no oversight intelligence blob post Patriot Act. So we got a lot to deal with here, but I do believe that they are shining a light on exactly who is complicit in the government. And these people better watch out with their tweets and stuff, because I am seeing a lot of people saying, who are these American citizen billionaires that are volunteering their time to help our country know what is going on behind the scenes? Those are the people we should be scared of, not, the worst. Goldman. He's like the heir billionaire Levi Strauss talking about billionaires infiltrating our government. He testified in the Ukraine impeachment, God knows why. So, you got to look at these people that are saying this and just laugh out loud. Not to mention that there's pictures of every single one of them, not just with George Soros, but with his despicable and far worse son. And nobody said anything. And God forbid they ever bring up Larry Fink. They'll never bring up the King of America ever. So give me a break. What they're doing is, and also I believe that both Elon, regardless of what anyone thinks of them as technocrats or a part of the parent company, I do think that they love their children and that they want their children to have a good life, not in this dystopian future, track and trace surveillance, no constitution, no Bill of Rights, totalitarian nightmare. So I think that they're fighting also for freedom, but for the future and for the future of not just their children, but ours.
Yeah. Well, I think you hit the nail on the head there, and Elon tends to agree with you. We have his post here responding to this, and he says the political and legacy media puppets all got their new instructions yesterday and are now parroting that same message to drive a wedge. They will fail. So that's good news. And like you said, we know that. I mean, the emperor has no clothes in this situation. The whole court doesn't have any clothes, so we know that. It's incredible. Okay, well, so we talked about Elon agreeing with Massey, but then here, let's show the tweet here. From Eric says this was the breaking news. They're gonna. Oh no, it was the next one. Eric Dow. They are going to do these three bills. They're going to fund till March, give us disaster relief, and then of course the farm bill. Now, one thing I want to ask you, Mel, and I might be going off the rails here. I asked our producer and Josh this last night. I said this might be a hot take, but do you think that the debt ceiling, or I'm sorry, the national debt, the 35 trillion, whatever we're in now, is this sort of the Republicans' global warming? Because there's always this warning that our civilization is going to just fall apart if we let the debt continue. And I'm not saying I'm for the debt, or I don't think it's a problem, but we've heard this since back in 2000 the debt was 5 trillion. Now it's 35 trillion, and we've heard for 25 years now that right. If we continue to let it go, our civilization will end. In the meantime, I watched TV last night. I had popcorn with my kids. Things seem to be okay. Is this an alarmist campaign that they constantly fundraise on and get elected on? Again, I don't mean to dismiss the seriousness of it, but sometimes it feels like it's overblown.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the left or right, Republican or Democrat that exists right now. I think they're both multi-billion-dollar conglomerates that make money off of terrorizing their own people to fear the other side, and most of it's BS. But also, just like this, last week we were going to be taken over by Hitler. This week he's a puppet. I mean, it's so ludicrous at this point. But yes, I do think that, because I think that the uniparty is completely captured, whether they're compromised, blackmailed, bribed, who knows. But what I do look at when I look at these two, RNC, DNC, and what they've become, I see that the RNC, or the Republican establishment, the Mitch McConnell wing of the party, is all about money and money being made. Money, they always talk about the money and the debt ceiling, where the other side, the most dangerous people on the left and the globalist billionaires that run it, all they talk about is power. We need more power. We need to chip away at the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and personal liberty, because we need to help this small group so that we can take more power. So it's both sides are playing the same game of fear mongering instead of doing anything, because the ones that are doing that, I am fully convinced, are the most compromised. Those who scream the loudest have the most to hide in DC, as far as I can see. And honestly, Republicans, it's all about money. The Republicans that I believe are traitors to us and to this nation, and the Democrats of the same ilk, it is all about power and control. So both sides are a complete failure. And that's why I say take off the R&D, leave your ego outside, join your fellow humans and your fellow citizens, regardless of race, religion, color, background, class, and realize we are fighting for freedom and the future, not just for this country, but for the world. And Stop looking at DC and politicians to do this for you or investigate themselves. It's never going to happen. We watched it with 3 fraudulent investigations into Crossfire Hurricane when we knew the criminals up front and the fraud up front. So enough's enough. That's why I say get back into it in your local community. You can do so much. Just create a community DOGE and you'll have 100 people show up to the church basement the first time you get it out there. I really believe that we have to spread this all over the country. Be the DOGE of these people are volunteers. They're American citizens. They care about their family and their future. They asked Trump if they could volunteer for a year. Trump said yes. Do that where you are. It will be a resounding success. And then we can really start to chip away at this BS and stop the power grab over power and the money grab over money that just consistently goes back into each other's pockets. Because I think when they get the power and they get the money, they're all in it together having drinks at Morton's.
That's right. Yep, that's right. Folks, real quick, let's bring in our affiliate here. We have a great affiliate, Zelenko, Dr. Zelenko's protocol. Mel, you spoke of him earlier.
He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, I want to hear some insights real quick, but we want to let people know that you need to go over, scan the QR code when it comes up here, or hit the link in the description and get yourself some Z-Stack. You got to build up your immune system, especially during the winter. Today's the winter, right? December 20th, 21st. Today's we're heading into winter wherever you are, and so you need to power up your immune system. Get yourself some Z-Stack. I'm not a doctor. But you should talk to your physician and get the right protocol for yourself. But I know that this stuff here, what Dr. Zelenko recommended during COVID, it saved my family. I don't mean that lightly. It truly did, and so many people out there. So scan the QR code, use the code WND to get 5% off of your order. We just thank you. So Mel, real quick, give us a little bit of take on Dr. Zelenko here.
Well, I want to tell you that Z-Stack is awesome. We take it all the time and it really works. And I'm so grateful for that. But I did become friends with him very, very early. We were both in New York. I got connected through somebody who knew him. And he started speaking out. That's why I had him on my YouTube channel thinking like, not only did I trust him, but he really cared. And he was really trying to get the message out. And then I'm very close also with Dr. Stella Emanuel. And I spoke while we were locked down in New York with RFK and a whole bunch of great people in Times Square to stop the lockdown and all of that. And then against the mandates. Dr. Zelenko was such an amazing man. And he really sincerely went out there with his own time, effort, energy, and money to find what could cure his community. And he did find a cure to it. And they kicked me off. Anywhere he went, they were censoring, silencing. Unfortunately, he had cancer the entire time. And I saw him just a few weeks before he passed. A good friend of mine, Brent Hamachek, wrote a book about him that's really very good that he actually did while he was in bed near the end of his life. But he was a real hero, and I hope he's always remembered. And I will say Z-Stack is an amazing, amazing product. I'm not even selling it here. I'm just telling you we use it, and it works. Like the second I feel like I'm even a little bit sick, I'll take 1 or 2 a day, depending on where I am, and it's like 48 hours, and I'm all good. So I really do recommend it. And he put his heart and soul into that, and then unfortunately passed away. But he's still with us. I see him fighting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. That's great. Okay. Well, we have to cover this a little bit in interesting news, because as everybody gets, I don't want to call it a distraction, but they always seem like distractions as we all get focused on this CR bill. All of a sudden, no one's talking about the drones over in New Jersey or whatever they are. We're not talking about all these other things, but Kamala Harris.
You already forgot, Matt, right?
You can go back to the old name.
Yeah, right?
Already forgot how to say it.
And Brandon, both of them make a mad dash back to the White House. Look at this. Our producer Kira posted this on X. Let's take a look at Kamala canceling her planned trip. Do we have that? We don't have that. Is this Kamala's cavalcade here?
Yeah, so this is them rushing back to the White House after canceling her trip to California.
Okay. Now, of course, in DC, those sirens are going 24/7.
Yeah, that's normal.
Like,
I know. I was like, that's quite a lot. Like as
Yeah.
if it's not regular, but they want you to know that, which is the thing. So
right. So what? So let's have a little fun. It's Friday.
Yeah,
Let's speculate. Let's speculate.
Speculate,
What's going on?
please, Mel.
25th Amendment. Did somebody did somebody leave more cocaine there? Like what's going on?
she had to go back and get it. Well, what I really think is that too many people, now that the Washington Post, New York Times, CNN have all admitted that they lied to the American people all this time. I mean, there's a compilation out there. I think one of the worst of the worst. Without the race baiters are the worst, but Nicole Wallace is absolutely awful. And her background and everything, but they're all out there talking about these pardons, but at the same time, they're talking about that he has never been mentally running the country, that he's been a disaster the whole time, especially when they went to run him again, that they all knew that he was totally gone, basically. So the question comes to who's writing, evaluating, choosing, and signing these pardons. And I think right now they're panicking because the American people are being told that it's not Joe Biden. And the only person via the Constitution that can pardon anyone is the president. So if the president is not choosing, and the president is not writing the pardons, and the president is not signing the pardons, who is?
Yeah.
And if it's not him, then they're invalid. So all the criminals, all the lawfare people, all the Crossfire Hurricane people, all the Weissman Eisen crew are all like, get Kamala Harris back here. She's got to be the one to do the pardons, or they're going to invalidate them when they find out that it wasn't Joe Biden. So to me, that when I saw this, I thought, this is what's happening. Because I said like 5 days ago, I looked it up. If it's not Joe Biden choosing, picking, and signing the pardons, they're not real. They don't exist. They're invalid. And if he can't do that, which I'm told he absolutely has no idea about any of these pardons, let alone where he is, then if it's Jill Biden, or I don't know, Obama and Susan Rice came back, or it's Blinken or Sullivan, it's invalid. So, but if they swap her out, and then Kamala Harris suddenly gives all the pardons, it'll be a much bigger fight if they invalidate them. That is my take after watching criminals.
Can you imagine? Yeah, Josh, can you imagine what a scandal it would be if Kamala comes. I know, but like what a scandal it would be if Kamala comes into power and the only thing she does is pardons, right?
I have to say, Mel, I didn't even think about that angle. I thought honestly I didn't, because I guess it's so far out of my mind already, the pardons. I'm just waiting for them to pardon everybody they can. It seems so fake. I didn't think about the idea that they could be invalidated without her, possibly, or 25th amendmenting him.
Right.
That's
juicy. You only need one whistleblower to say he wasn't even there when they process these pardons. I mean, because they probably have a stamp that looks like he's signing it. So you don't have to do it that way. But you need one brave person to say this had nothing to do with him. First of all, the pardons are probably being written at the Brookings Institute, like all the lawfare. So let's be honest, that like Norm Eisen, I'm sure, and Elias and Eric Holder are the ones picking and writing the actual verbiage.
Have we actually seen the actual, because when you do a pardon, you have to actually do a form, it's a form, like you really have to do it. And when he pardoned Hunter Biden, it was almost by ex post, it was it was just a letter. Have we actually seen these pardons yet? The actual documents?
I think a document came out from Hunter Biden's attorney, but again, very strange thing about not Hunter Biden's pardon is it's back to 2014. But am I led to believe that all the years that his brother was the AG in Delaware and his father was the vice president before 2014, that he was legitly doing, I still think that there's probably sedition, treason, and other financial crimes that are before 2014. If they really have done this to his father and kept him like a Weekend at Bernie's president this whole time and let him fall down on stage and embarrass himself over and over in front of the world, if I was Hunter Biden, I'd turn state's evidence and give the big FU to the entire DC area and rat everyone out at this point. I mean, if he's not in on it and they're not getting paid for his father to leave the worst legacy ever, of any president ever, because he's a fake president. It's like who was it? Wilson, whose wife was the president for the last 4 months. I can't remember. It happened before,
Yep.
but I mean, this family is so dubious and disgusting. If they're not getting paid, why not flip? You know, at this point.
Yeah, I agree. Mel, okay, Mel, let's put up your book one more time here.
Thanks.
Where can people follow you? Where can they find this book? Give us the lowdown.
Oh, thank you so much. Like you, I am all labeled up and blocked, never got back my old channel on X. So people can follow me at Mel K Show, at Mel K Show. No the, because I never got back that one. And my book can be found on my website, themelkshow.com. I also encourage people to go to the free resources page. I put a lot of my effort and time into that. And honestly, my book is really for people that are just waking up to this, not people like me that have been researching the global public-private partnership that swallowed the earth for the last 10 years. This is actually a book for people that are right now saying, what happened to America and when did we stop mattering? And how do we get back in a place where it's by the people, for the people? So I hope people grab it. It's also available on Amazon. And like I said, it's not for left and right, Republican and Democrat. It's for proud Americans who realize that they are still on the same team as the founders. We are still being founded. And what's your place in it is kind of what I ask in that book. And I give you ways to define that and to put it into action.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Yeah, thank you, Mel.
Guys, I love you too. Anytime.
Oh, great.
Thank you so much, guys.
And I'm so glad that you, again, because you were banned on X2 or Twitter, that when WorldNetDaily gets their channel back, you're here to bust through it too. So that's great.
Yeah, we'll do it together. Thank you, guys. Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
thank you, Mel.
Merry Christmas. All right, folks, real quick, Josh, before we get out of here, Uncharted Supply. I love these guys. This Uncharted Supply. Can we throw that up there?
Yeah.
72-hour survival system. Scan the QR code. Hit the link in the description. And if we still have the image of what's inside, you guys got to check this out. Look at this. This is your 72-hour kit.
And Matt, we're going to have one of these for next week's show. We'll show what's in it because we have one. So
I love it.
Yeah, we'll go through all the items. I might wear the goggles. Who knows?
Well, and what's great about this, guys, is that they're always looking to upgrade and put new things in here and maybe swap. So everything you see on the image here is an idea of what's inside this thing, and they're always out there sourcing the best products to get you through. The first 72 hours of a disaster situation is the most crucial because most disaster situations are resolved within 72 hours. But what are you going to do during those 72 hours? So hit that, scan that QR code, hit the link in the description, and head over to Uncharted.
And Matt, I should say that ladies, if for your significant other, if they're your husband or son or grandson. No dude's not gonna want this thing. Okay, it's gonna live in their car because it's pretty cool. And just wait till we show you what's in it. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, you know, there was this, real quick. I have not this particular one, but I have many of these types of kits, right? We have we're dudes, right? We have them all over.
Dudes need this.
But I was so excited. We were out at a beautiful waterfall and in Montana. And we were going back to our car. We were packing our stuff up to leave. And the guy next to me, they locked their keys in the car. And he was like, "Do you have anything?" And I was just like, "Are you kidding? Like, let's bust this thing open and see what we got, you know?"
Yeah.
And we just like ravaged through all this stuff, you know.
It was your moment, Matt.
Yeah, it was the moment I've been waiting for. Because you get this stuff, you look at it, and you're like, "Well, I'm not going to play with it, but like, I want it." And that was by no means a survival situation, but I did get to open it up and help the guy out. So anyway.
Got to be a hero. That's great.
Yeah. For what it's worth. Okay, Josh.
Yeah.
We're back on X. I love it. This is a huge moment. The numbers are up there. So that's great. I love it.
Listen, guys, we're back on X live now on X. We have been on X, but not been able to go live. So now look, we're competing with the greats like Alex Jones. It's a tough uphill battle, but we want you to come here. Matt and I will try to give you like the best news. So if you're watching on X, we really appreciate it. It goes to my channel as well and Matt, but we really want to bring everybody back to what's happening on WorldNetDaily. And in that vein, I want to remind you, Rumble channel. We'd love you to follow us over there. There's actually a lot of content, not just this show either. So one of our founders, Elizabeth Farah, she also has a show where she's interviewing some of the top guests and really
stuff. Yeah.
interesting stuff that folks are saying over there. And we really love that show. We'd love you to go see that show by going over to our Rumble, following us over there. It's important to say it's free. If you don't know, it's free, guys. Okay. It's free over on Rumble, which I thought everything's free nowadays for this kind of streaming, but sometimes people don't know that. Also, you may be watching us on our X account. Nothing but news and always breaking over on our X account. And the mothership is our website, WorldNetDaily.com. That's where really important articles are being written, great editorials on what's happening in the country. And of course, we have all the social media channels, pop culture stuff happening over on Instagram. And of course, the very censored, like a lot of international stuff that happens over at the Telegram. And I always say, if you watch this far, we really appreciate it. And it's Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. 1 month. We are 1 month away. January 20th.
Unbelievable.
It's
yeah.
It's hard to believe we're getting into the crunch time here, but we'll keep tabs on everything. Thank you, Josh. It's Friday, so we're gonna be back here next week. We'll be back here on Monday.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll be back here on Monday. So please join us on Monday, and we'll see you then. Thanks everybody. God bless.
Thanks, y'all.